is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Hot Chai Pod, a podcast where we serve up that piping hot Bollywood tea. I'm your host, Jazz, and surprisingly, we have a lot of tea to serve up today, actually. We have some box office stuff, and then we'll get into all of the gossip, of course. It's a little murdery, it's a little mean today, but what are you gonna do? First, though, how fun was last week's episode? I actually recorded that live from Fiji, so bandwidth issues, could not upload a whole video. If you haven't listened yet, go ahead and do that because it won't be old tea. So I had my mom join as a co-host, and we kind of bantered back and forth. We did like a Bollywood then versus now, present day versus like the 70s, 80s when she was like more into it. So it was actually very good, and I really loved all of the feedback you guys had. So it seems like you had just as much fun as I did actually just doing it. So we'll see. I may start adding guests in every now and then. We'll just have to see how that goes. Different people, you might not like everyone you see. Yes, sadly, I am back from vacation, back to reality, okay? Smackdown, back to reality. And it's a first world problem, I know, but honestly, I was gone for the perfect time in LA. There was this crazy heat wave of all heat waves, and then not one, but two earthquakes. And you know what? I'm from here, and when you're from Southern California, you're just like, oh yeah, earthquakes, it's fine. When I was younger and there'd be an earthquake and I'd be doing homework or something, I really wouldn't move, even though you're taught in school, to get under a desk or something. But I'm like, okay, now it does disturb me. You're 1 minute you're sitting, the next minute things are just rattling around you, and then you're like, is this it? Is this the big one? I don't know. Your life flashes in front of your eyes. At least it keeps things interesting around here. Let's first start with the Netflix series, The Perfect Couple. So this will be a no spoilers review since it just came out. And why am I covering this American show, you may ask? Well, our very own Ishaan Khatter, aka Shahid Kapoor's brother. He has a pretty substantial role in the show, and it's a mini series. It's 6 episodes, an hour each. And the premise is a murder mystery, whodunit, think Succession kind of meets Big Little Lies, if anyone has seen any of this. If you haven't, you should. It's very East Coast, waspy family. They have a Nantucket home, vacation home, and one of their guests is murdered the night before the son's wedding, one of the son's weddings. And I'm not spoiling it. This all happens within 15 minutes. I think it's even in the show description or something. So I am about to shock myself with this admission, with this next statement, and do not hold me accountable for this in case anything changes. I am giving myself some plausible deniability. I'm giving myself a way out of this if necessary. But I am going to say it. Ishaan Khatter has entered his hot boy era. Okay, I said it. Like I said, very shocking. I went in with low expectations. As you may remember from last week, I wasn't super feeling him. My mom definitely wasn't feeling him. And then I don't know what happened. And, I'm not into the whole star siblings thing. I already have Shahid Kapoor that I'm kind of a fan of. Not a huge fan, but still, Shahid's little brother. And now suddenly, where did this come from? And I thought about it, and it does make a little bit of sense because he debuted when he was 22. And I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Nobody really wants a 22-year-old guy. No offense out there. But, besides college girls and guys, now he's filled out a little bit. He's got a 6-pack. He's fixed up the hair. And he did this full American show in English. And I gotta say, I'm into the brown boy representation. It's not every day that we get an Indian guy playing this heartthrob role, big show too. It has Nicole Kidman, Dakota Fanning, and I'm and he got this role, and I don't really know how he got it, but I'm very, very pleased with it. And it seems like a lot of people online agree with that. So I should also just add that it wasn't a small role either. I got the sense from the press tour that it wasn't going to be because he was up on stage and stuff. But also just in the first episode alone, you see a lot of camera work, it's focused on him, or they make sure to show him even if it's in the distance, and you just kind of are okay, they're foreshadowing something, right? And by the way, there's also a very catchy intro dance number at the beginning of every episode. It's the same dance, but I'm like, where did this synchronized dancing come from? Like, is it a Bollywood? I wasn't sure. Maybe he gave them the idea. Maybe he's like, what would be really cool in here is if we did a Bollywood intro song and we all danced together. So, and if you watch, obviously he's the only one doing like a really good job. So yeah, I'm pleased with it. I will leave the details at that. I will say I super enjoyed it. I was gripped. I watched the whole thing in one sitting because like I have no control and I have an issue clearly, but I want to know who did it. What happened? So I can't go to sleep until I know. And go watch it if you haven't. Leave your comments and I will check what else Ishaan Khatter has in the pipeline now because my interest has been piqued. Let's just say. Okay, so moving on to the one and only Aishwarya Rai. Should I still say Bachchan? I don't know. So she was in Dubai at the SIIMA Awards, SIIMA. I don't know if it's SIIMA, but she won Best Actress, Critics' Choice, so Best Actress in a Leading Role, and this was for her movie PS2, which, that makes me happy. A lot of people really liked her in that movie. But you know what I was looking for. Okay, surprise. Abhishek Bachchan was a no-show. Nowhere to be found. And actually, that's not a surprise. Okay, I've been tracking this story for now several weeks. Actually, it's been a while. It's probably been like 2 months that I've been tracking this. And what happened to him being in Paris at the Olympics and being like, yeah, I'm still married? Well, your wife is going everywhere alone. And yeah, I don't know. And suddenly, the other thing about this whole situation, the other issue that's come across my desk is there was an announcement. Actually, there was like this big little press campaign. Instagram accounts and stuff are like, oh, Abhishek debuted a new look, unveiled his new look. Excuse me? Bushy beard is gone. He's got a fade going. Okay, he's got the F-boy fade. And somehow his jawline returned, or he got a jawline. I don't really know. I have to check the old photos, but I don't know if it's like a weight loss thing. I don't know if he got in some good jawline filler, but it's looking good. And I'm like, this is not doing anything to quell the suspicions that we here at the Hot Chai Pod continue to have. And like, suddenly your wife is going alone to events, or you guys are going separately, like to the Ambani wedding. You finally look nice after like a decade. And ladies, we all know this. We know this move all too well. You lose some weight, you get a new haircut. It's not looking good. Watch out. That's all I'm saying. Watch out. So instead of Abhishek, Aaradhya actually accompanied Ash, was her +1 to the awards show, which in some ways it was very cute to see them. And, they had like these coordinated outfits, and Aaradhya, you could see her like taking photos of Ash winning. And then she went and like was very supportive and congratulating her after Ash got off stage. I'm calling her Ash like she's my best friend. But the point is, people online are out of control. Okay? People are vicious. And if you're one of them, no shade, but like kind of shade if you did this. Making fun of the way this like girl, this like child looks, or like her outfit. Give her a break. Okay? I think she's like 13 or 14 years old. And like, you should not be making fun of a child. You just shouldn't. Just calm down with that. Let's see your pictures from middle school. Okay? Unless you were like Miss Teen Florida, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Everyone has an awkward phase. Not saying that she's having an awkward phase, but I guess to that point, it kind of made me wonder, the tween years, the teen years, they're very hard on you. Like the classmates are not so nice. Like notoriously, it's like a bad time. There's the cliques, there's bullying, now there's cyberbullying, there's like, and people are just gossiping and stuff. And if people are sitting here and like trash talking her, and then she goes to school, do they have like this ammo, or like, is it like hard for her? I don't know. And I wasn't even thinking about her really. I was thinking about myself. Like personally, would I have wanted to have that kind of visibility and scrutiny? I don't know. And at the same time, it would have been really cool to be going to all these events and, have movie star parents. And I don't know where I land on that. I feel like there's pros and cons. And at the same time, I'm sure Aishwarya doesn't want to really attend these events alone. And I think that's probably the bigger theme here is like, it's nice to have some support and like someone to hang out with for the weekend in Dubai. Like, why not? My mom would want to take me. So, no, I would like Aishwarya to please find a hot rebound, just in general, not to take to award events, but just in general. I support you, girl, on your side. Speaking of Aishwarya Rai, Alia Bhatt has been announced as the new L'Oreal brand ambassador. And I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. It feels a little anticlimactic. Okay, I'll just say that. I like her. I am a fan of her. I just want to throw that out there. It's just hard. I know that your brand has to move with the times. I think maybe Deepika was briefly a L'Oreal brand ambassador. We know infamously Sonakshi Kapoor was. And I guess am nostalgic because when Aishwarya was the L'Oreal girl, I could even hear, like, I could go to Target and there would be like an Aishwarya Rai lipstick and it would have like her photo in the aisle at Target and it was pretty exciting. But simpler times. Even though Alia is like this huge movie star, you do kind of wonder because like Shraddha Kapoor, she doesn't have these types of brand deals. And I sometimes wonder about that because she has this insane following, right? Like she's like number 2 or 3 most followed person in India. How come you're not the face of anything? Maybe they should have given Maybelline to her and not Suhana Khan. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm going to say it. She's an actress. She's gorgeous. I don't know that like Suhana with her one movie that was like a mega flop on Netflix needs to be the face of Maybelline. I'm just going to say it. So the way that they announced Alia for this campaign was not doing her any favors. I feel like whoever styled this made a mistake because they put her in this like oversized baggy suit and then a tank top underneath that says you're worth it. Okay? Like what is this? Like a high school fashion show? And then really like they couldn't put her in like dramatic like mini dress, with like a cape, like a something like a little bit more like in your face. Wow, I'm like the new young it girl, like fresh, glamorous, but no. Why would I be inspired by a baggy suit with a tank top? That didn't make any sense. And then, not to mention, Alia doesn't really wear a lot of makeup. Sometimes she does, but like they put her in this clean girl aesthetic for a makeup ad. I don't know if it's hitting for me. Like none of that did anything. And then she's kind of just talking in the ad. It's very like low energy. It's a little monotone, like you're worth it. Everyone's worth it. It wasn't like hot, like, ooh, I need that lipstick. And also with the lipstick ad, there was like 2 promos, right? The lipstick promo, she's applying the lipstick famously. You missed out on opportunity for her to like wipe off the lipstick.
We used to go out at night. He's like, wipe that off, because he loves the natural.
I'm going to say it. You missed that opportunity. The whole Vogue video or even other videos where she's like, I like to like slightly wipe it off, or my husband tells me to wipe it off. What we know the toxic behaviors. But I just feel like that would have went viral. I feel like that would have like poked fun a little. Maybe they could have had her doing a different product, like a mascara or like a skin tint or something, that is more believable because the lipstick, it's like, she doesn't like to wear lipstick. So why are we putting her in a lipstick ad? I don't know. Who am I? Am I a creative director of L'Oreal? I'm not. But those are just my opinions.
It's my opinion!
Maybe, so what's coming up is the Paris Fashion Week event, and she'll be walking there. I think Aishwarya is also walking there. I'm just going to say I think she's going to do a better job than Navya did when she walked the ramp. God knows why. For some godforsaken reason, she was walking the ramp. Movie coming out this weekend is Yudhra with Siddhant Chautervedi. This apparently has been touted as his first lead role, which kind of surprised me. Has he really not been like a lead actor? I don't know. I guess so. He had Garayan, and that was more of a Deepika movie, right? Deepika's like angst was the main character of that movie. I liked that movie. Unpopular opinion, but it is a good film noir of sort. But anyways, this is going to be an interesting career moment for him, make or break, some could say, or like see how he'll be received, because he was in Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, and of course I thought he did fine in it. But everyone walked away from that movie being like, oh my gosh, it's the first time Ananya Pandey can actually act in something. So, I feel like it overshadowed his role in there, and a lot of people don't like him. But I like him. I think he's cute and I think he's talented. And like I said, the more fresh faces, the better. So we'll just have to see. I'll see if it's playing in a theater near me. And if it is, I will give a recap on it next week. So our final hot chai topic for today is a little bit meta. The hot chai topics kind of continue for teacup time, so stick around. I'm going to use Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas as an example, and not a bad example because I actually like them. So they were in the south of France, I think last week on vacation, which I can't say lucky because I was on vacation too. But they went down there and they also had the baby with them, Malti Marie, which is a very cute baby. Throw that out there. I know everyone says all babies are cute. Why people were buzzing is they had all these like very hot pictures. Of course, Priyanka had all these like solo bikini shots and stuff, which good. I'm glad. If you're gonna get in that good of shape, but like you got to show everybody what you've done. Then they have all these like steamy pictures together, and every time that comes up, it always like crosses my mind. I think it crosses other people's mind, and I see comments of like, is this genuine or is this like a PR thing when celebrities are all over each other? And that's like a big question, because I was actually thinking this, I'm a big like Real Housewives fan. And I was thinking this the other day because one of the Real Housewives of Orange County uploaded this carousel of photos for her husband's birthday. And mind you, they've been married like, I don't know, 24 years or something. Most of the early seasons on the show, she's just kind of like mega dismissive of him. And then all of a sudden, this season or last season, they're just super lovey-dovey. She posts this birthday carousel for him, and I kid you not, it was like 15 photos of him. It's not his 50th birthday. It's not his anniversary. So what is this? Like, where is this coming from? And I'm suspicious of a lot of couples who start acting like this with, the essays of, this is why you're the most important thing that's ever walked into my life. Not in a cynical way, but kind of like a cynical way. But I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot. Like, what's happened? Did somebody cheat recently? Are you feeling unhappy? Are you trying to overcompensate? Are you trying to make people feel jealous? It just begs the question. And I'm not saying that that's the case here, because I was talking to my friend about it, and I was like, well, Priyanka and Nick have always been very like PDA heavy. So it's not like this came out of nowhere. So some couples are just very affectionate. And some couples have a lot of PDA and then some don't, or they're more reserved. And especially celebrity couples all kind of differ. And I feel like you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. And if they don't have a lot of PDA, it then begs the question, oh, is there, divorce on the rise? And people are always saying that about Priyanka and Nick. Like, oh, they're getting divorced. He wasn't wearing his ring in this picture. And like, they have to be lovey-dovey, and then are they overcompensating for those rumors? And it's like this circular thing. And I feel like it's a tough spot to be in. Like, I think, Priyanka obviously knows how to play the game. She's very media savvy. But yeah, I feel like it's like a no-win game. And sometimes things are more obvious than others. Like, okay, if somebody is like visibly like walking ahead of their spouse, or, like rolling their eyes or kicking their lenga or some, what I mean? Like something like that, where that's not the greatest of body language. But if they're just standing next to each other, like, most normal couples will do, especially in public, then I don't know. But I don't want to judge the PDA either. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I will leave that to you. I would like to hear the discussion on like if you think it's overkill, or do you think it's smart PR, or is it just, people just being themselves? For teacup time today, I thought we would chat through a couple of the Hot Chai Pod Instagram polls, because I've been having a blast with them. I like to write the polls, and yes, I write all the polls myself. And then I get to see all the results, which is interesting because they're not always what I expect, or they're not always my own opinion. So I like to see that. And a couple that stood out to me this week. So one, Aditi Rao Hydari got married, which was nice for her. And she wore this beige Sabyasachi tissue sari. And of course, she looked very beautiful, very like classic bride, very simple. But then I asked on the poll, is it a great look, or is it just, are we like tired of the beige bride thing? And you guys liked it. 70% of you said it was chic. 30% of you said you're over the beige bride thing. And that's good to know. And I have to put it out there. Like, I love all bridal clothes. I think it's hard to go wrong. Like when you're decked out and you're the bride, like you're going to look beautiful regardless, right? But I like the pastels. I do. I like the traditional red. I like everything in between. I like when people do like a hot pink and orange or like a floral or something, whatever it is. I tend to get very inspired. But I do have a little bit of fatigue. A lot of the Bollywood brides are all doing like nudes or beige or whatever. And I do think that styling plays actually a very big role because when you're wearing this, nude outfit, sometimes you need a little contrast. But a lot of people are like I said, doing the clean girl makeup with the nude outfit. It's kind of like washing you out a little bit. You got to stand out. You do like the super dark eyes, do a red lip, just to have some contrast, especially when you're like a lighter or medium skin tone, wearing like nude or beige. I know even for myself, like it totally washes me out. So it just is a little monochromatic. And I think to each their own. Every bride, like I said, looks beautiful. She obviously looks gorgeous, but that would be my opinion on that poll. So poll number 2, this is like a serious issue, honestly. So Sonakshi Sinha, ever since she got married, I will say that there has been this never-ending press about her relationship. It's like suddenly she's out. She could talk about it because she's married, God love it. But it did take me by surprise, this recent tidbit that was shared all over the interwebs. Sonakshi Sinha said that in her 7-year relationship with her now husband, Zaheer Iqbal, the discussion of religion has never come up, not once. 7 years? You go on Hinge, people have fierce debates, okay? People are like, can you wear Crocs out of the house? Can you eat pineapple on pizza? Which, by the way, I do. Sorry, not sorry. But I digress. What do we think about that? You're going to say him being Muslim, you being Hindu, never came up in 7 years, even like philosophically, even just to be like, oh yeah, this is, how I was raised, or this is how I believe. Like, you don't want to discuss that with your partner? And 90% of you agreed with me that you must discuss religion before you get married. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call bullshit on this. Okay, my bullshit radar is high today. I'm glad like faith wasn't an issue for you. I support interfaith marriages. But you're saying you didn't chat about it. And yet somehow you planned a wedding between the two of you with your families, and it like never came up to say like, what kind of ceremony are we going to do? Should we do both ceremonies? Should we do a non-religious ceremony? I would say like, that's an elephant in the room. Like any interfaith couple I know has had to discuss that. If they didn't discuss it early in the relationship, at some point you have to decide when you're planning a wedding. So BS, fake news, we call it out here. And on that note, I think that's a very good note to end with, the Hot Chai Pod's paranoia. And stay tuned for later this week because we're going to be doing a special bonus recap series where I'm going to be recapping Call Me Bae, finally, an Anya Pandey show, because I've been seeing such good things and such horrible things about it. And I don't know if I'm going to be doing like, 2-episode chunks or something. I'm going to have to watch and kind of decide. And with that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week until we chat again next week. Bye.